In the haunting shadows of the ancient village of Offida, the air crackles with tension as Eucharisticmiracle, desperate and defiant, stands at the precipice of a dark ritual, clutching a consecrated host that has now become a conduit for her twisted desires. Her heart races as the very essence of the divine begins to bleed before her, a grotesque betrayal of faith that threatens to unleash the wrath of forces she can scarcely comprehend. In that pivotal moment, as shadows writhe and laughter turns to screams, she is forced to confront a chilling truth. Have they awakened something far beyond their control? But to understand how they arrived at this moment, we must journey back to where it all began. This was just the beginning of the plan. Before we get to the full story, take a moment to subscribe and comment where you're from. In the quiet village of Offida, nestled in the picturesque hills of Marche, Italy, a heavy shadow lingered. The year was not far along, and while life thrived under the warm Italian sun, whispers of despair shrouded the heart of Eucharisticmiracle, a young woman desperate for change. With deep brown eyes that once glittered with hope, she now walked the cobbled streets with her head bowed, haunted by her family's struggles and her own spiraling doubts. Eucharisticmiracle's family was once anchored in a community where faith flourished, but over time, a palpable darkness began to suffocate the village, seeping into the lives of those who lived there. Her parents, once firm pillars of faith, labored tirelessly but dwindled in spirits as misfortune clung to them like a relentless fog. They sought solace in prayer, yet nights were punctured by worries whispered into the dim light of their modest home. Her father's once vibrant laughter had been replaced by a weary sigh, a sound that echoed in the empty corners of their home. Eucharisticmiracle would often find her mother sitting by the flickering candle, tearing up old letters that contained slips of happy memories. The flickering shadows on the wall painted a haunting portrait of what once was a family's strength diminished, their faith in the divine weakened with each passing day. As days turned into weeks, the insatiable weight of adversity pushed Eucharisticmiracle towards deeper despair. Laughter became a distant echo, and joy felt like a fleeting memory. In the midst of this turmoil, flickers of hope fell silent, leaving only the cries of her heart. The village seemed to clasp tightly onto her throat, suffocating her. Seeking relief, Eucharisticmiracle's thoughts gravitated towards the forbidden. The mention of dark arts had fluttered through the village like a wind-torn shroud, drawing her attention like a moth to a flame. With a mix of trepidation and curiosity, she sought out the notorious Strega Icoma, a figure cloaked in mystery and misgivings. In the dimly lit corners of local taverns, people spun tales of her powers, matters of love, death, and healing intertwined with darkness. Eucharisticmiracle, desperate for change, believed that perhaps the Strega held the key to her family's salvation. Each story, woven in hushed tones, only intensified her yearning for a way out. As the stars glimmered above, she shadowed mysterious paths until she finally stood before Icoma's home, a dwelling draped in secrecy. The air was thick with unspoken promises. The old woman's eyes, hollow yet piercing, speared through Eucharisticmiracle's facade as she listened to her tale. Words sprang forth, a mix of fear and determination. "I want to save my family from this fate," she uttered, her voice barely above a whisper. Icoma nodded, a smile that didn't reach her eyes forming on her lips. "Desire is a powerful thing, child," she said, her voice laced with a beguiling charm. She offered Eucharisticmiracle a glimpse into a world where shadows mingled with possibility, a dangerous allure that sparked an ember of hope within the depths of despair. Under the pale light of the crescent moon, Eucharisticmiracle stepped into a world unknown. The Strega instructed her in the arts that danced dangerously alongside the sacred. Sacrilege beckoned her, tracing lines between life and the unnaturally wielded power while pulling her away from the warmth of her faith. Each incantation pulled her deeper into a reality where faith began to wane. On the cusp of a line that couldn't be uncrossed, Eucharisticmiracle felt the thrill of possibility. She saw the flicker of a spark, but each new day deprived her of peace, replacing it instead with an unsettling chill. Night after night, she found herself caught in the throes of dark rituals, draped in shadows and uncertainty. The bitter taste of regret rose within her, yet the possibility of reclaiming her family's fortune beguiled her senses. It was a perilous game of chance, her soul balancing on the edge as she grasped tighter to the fleeting promise dangled before her. Hiding from the world's judgment, Eucharisticmiracle stole a consecrated host from the local church, her heart racing as she shielded it beneath her cloak. It was a moment steeped in sacrilege, knitting together the threads of her descent. The very body of Christ, a mark of faith transformed into a weapon. With Icoma at her side, Eucharisticmiracle felt the pull of something dark and powerful as they prepared for the final act of their ritual. The night was thick and heavy, a shroud of tension clinging to every breath as the winds outside whispered warnings unheard. Under the pale light of the crescent moon, the air thickened with anticipation and fear. The Strega outlined the ceremonial circle, drawing sigils in the dirt with a practiced hand. Each stroke echoed a secret, drawing Eucharisticmiracle deeper into the web. She gripped the host, its texture foreign and unsettling, her hands clammy with doubt. Rixgarella's heart raced as she called upon forces she barely understood, fueled by desperation and a longing to alter her family's fate. The night seemed to hold its breath, a sacred stillness enveloping the unfolding horror. And then came the moment that forever altered her path, the threshold crossing into a darkness that could not be undone. Rixgarella felt the air around her pulsate, thick with energy she had only heard of in stories, her heart a wild drum in her chest. The tranquil beauty of Offida seemed to fade with the sun as shadows crawled closer, wrapping around her like a vice, squeezing the warmth from her spirit. Suddenly, the ordinary world felt distant, replaced by a sinister stage where her longing for salvation had drawn her. The Strega's voice cut through the stillness, rich with authority. "Tonight, we summon forces beyond our ken," Iacoma said, her eyes glittering dangerously. "The host, the body of Christ, will serve as our channel. By hiding it, you give it power, and so you can reshape your fate." Rixgarella nodded, though anxiety clawed at her insides, and the weight of her choice began to settle uneasily upon her shoulders. As they prepared the ritual, her surroundings warped and twisted, a surreal blend of fear and excitement blending into an intoxicating haze. The night sky was blanketed with stars that felt impossibly far away, mocking the plight of a girl who longed for hope in the shadows. With every line sketched in the dirt by the Strega, Rixgarella's conviction was tested. She swallowed hard, steadying her hands as the moon cast eerie shadows of their own design. When the circle was complete, Iacoma beckoned Rixgarella to the center. "You must call on the spirits," she instructed, her smile tinged with something malevolent. "Thoughts of desperation, your family's suffering, channel them. Only then shall we receive the whispers of power." Rixgarella hesitated, her mind a tempest of doubt. She thought of her mother's tears, the way they glistened in the dim light when she spoke of brighter days. She thought of her father's weary gaze, the hope mingled with despair clinging to his every word. It tore at her heart, but the glimmer of possibility beckoned, the chance to rewrite their destiny. With a deep breath, she embraced the call, beginning a chant that fell like a dark melody into the surrounding air. As the words left her lips, a darkness began to rise. The atmosphere thickened, coiling around her, making each breath feel laborious. Rixgarella felt terrified yet exhilarated, teetering on the precipice of something unimaginably profound. Suddenly, a change rippled through the circle. The host, nestled within her grasp, began to tremble. She met Iacoma's gaze, which now flickered with wild anticipation. "Do not falter," the Strega hissed, urgency thrumming in her tone. "You must harness it." Struggling against an unease that gnawed at her, Rixgarella inhaled deeply and pressed on, pouring every ounce of her intent into the chant. Moments built into an eternity, and shadows stretched around them, dark tendrils reaching outward with unseen purposes. Just then, reverberations of her voice collided with the air, and the host she held burst forth with life, a sudden, terrifying brilliance igniting within. As if released from its incarceration, the healing blood poured out, cascading from the host. It flowed like crimson rivers, stunning Rixgarella and Iacoma alike. Fear twisted Rixgarella's stomach. "What have we done?" she gasped, staring wide-eyed at the miraculous sight. The host, once a symbol of salvation, was now bleeding, its divine essence manifesting in a grotesque twist of sanctity exploited by their dark intentions. Iacoma's reaction was electric, the excitement radiated from her as she laughed, a sound that echoed through the night with maniacal enthusiasm. "Do you see?" she cackled, her gnarled fingers trembling in ecstasy. "Power flows through us, but we must maintain control, call upon the spirits again." Each heartbeat resonated with the pulse of something greater than herself. The surge of transcendent power wrapped Rixgarella in its embrace. But that power came with its own peril. She realized the danger of the theft, an act against divinity that now warped even the ground beneath her feet. With every moment, she felt the tug of the sacred outweighing the thrill of dominion. As blood pooled in the circle, blurring the lines drawn in the dirt, the urgency of her situation became intolerable. The brightness waned, and the air turned frigid. Shadows lengthened and darted like specters weaving through spaces, as if seeking vengeance for the sacrilege committed. "No," she shouted, the panic rising in her throat. "This wasn't what I wished for." The realization struck her like a thunderclap. They had conjured something far beyond their control. The Strega's laughter faltered, replaced by a startled gasp as the enchantment unspooled, revealing the stark consequences of their actions. She fumbled the host as if it had burned her fingers, heart racing, understanding that they had summoned not just power, but the wrath that dwelled in the heart of the sacred. As the last vestiges of charm faded with the dying glow of the blood, Rixgarella stumbled backward, her heart pounding as fear gripped her. The ritual had taken a turn she could not have foreseen. The transformation from zealotry to horror left her gasping, breathless with the weight of what lay before her. What could they possibly do now? The power they sought had slipped through their fingers like sand, and the depth of their transgression hung heavy in the air, a cloying silence settling over the violated earth. Rixarella's thoughts raced frantically, grappling with the truth. She had ventured into darkness seeking light, and in doing so had clouded her vision. The consequences of her actions loomed larger with every heartbeat, asking her a haunting question. Was redemption still within reach, or had she irrevocably severed the thread tethering her to the light? As the night settled into an oppressive silence, the realization of their shared blasphemy clung to Rixarella like a shroud. The air was thick with tension, and even the wind seemed to hold its breath, waiting. Shadows danced erratically around them, alive with a purpose that haunted her heart. It was in this weighty stillness that she sensed the creeping tendrils of doom, wrapping around her thoughts like a vice. "How could we have let it get this far?" she whispered, her voice trembling with regret. Iacoma stood beside her, the confidence that had once adorned her face now melting into confusion and fear. "We sought to take power into our hands, Rixarella," she said, her voice ragged. "Power always requires a price." The sheer weight of those words echoed within her, forcing Rixarella to confront the gravity of their actions. They had danced on the precipice of the divine, demanding miracles. In their desperation, they had rejected faith, replacing it with dark ambition. Now they had stirred something ancient, something punitive. A surge of dread coiled around her, squeezing her chest. "What now?" she asked, her gaze on the pool of glowing blood that shimmered ominously at her feet. It was a cursed inheritance, representative of their theft and the blasphemy they had committed. Is there any way to undo this? Iacoma's eyes narrowed as she observed the swirling crimson. A flicker of determination ignited in her chest. "We must confront what we have awakened. There must be a way to restore balance." "Balance at what cost?" Rixarella retorted, frustration boiling over. "What more can we sacrifice? I've already offered my will." The bitterness of her situation bit hard, her voice rising in pitch as despair overwhelmed her. Something shifted in the air, a whisper formed by the remnants of energies they had summoned. The silence began to unravel. Shadows shifted, forming grotesque shapes that danced at the periphery of Rixarella's vision, taunting her with illustrations of their transgression. "They are restless," Iacoma murmured, drawing closer to Rixarella. "We need to summon the spirits of those we've offended. Only by acknowledging the transgression can we hope to reverse the ritual." Rixarella swallowed hard, glancing around the clearing, eyes wide in panic. "Summon them? You mean bring forth the anger of the spirits we've dishonored?" "Yes," Iacoma said, her resolve steady. "Bring forth the echoes of the past, honor what was torn asunder by our recklessness. That connection may grant us the redemption we seek." Rixarella's heart raced, the juxtaposition of fear and hope igniting within her chest. "And if they do not come, if we are cast into even deeper darkness?" "They will heed the call of repentance," Iacoma replied, the conviction threading through her voice carrying an analog to faith itself. "It may be our only means of redemption." Steeling herself, Rixarella nodded, though uncertainty tightened around her heart. "Very well, I will do it." Iacoma paced back, moving with urgency to clear a space among the sigils that covered the ground. Rixarella watched, her heart hammering as she considered what to say. The whispers of the spirits swelled, coiling around her thoughts as she prepared to open her heart and soul. The scarlet pool pulsed yet again, a relentless reminder of the sins etched into the tapestry of this night. In a voice barely above a whisper, she began to speak, reciting the names of the lost, those who had known the sacredness of the host, those who had carried their stories into the shadows. "Come forth, you who have suffered, you who have been dishonored by our acts." The air crackled with energy, the atmospherics bending and twisting as if the very ground breathed. "Come forth," she reiterated, her voice stronger now, fueled by the longing to rectify her wrongs. "We call upon you, spirits of the faith, ancestors past, hear our plea." Iacoma joined her, the strength of her voice weaving into Rixarella as they raised their arms to the sky, summoning whirling tendrils of light. The shadows recoiled as the spirits materialized, their faint forms illuminated by the dim glow of the moon, faces both revered and sorrowful emerging from the blankness surrounding them. The air felt electric, alive with their presence, adorned in the essence of hopes unfulfilled and faith lost. "Do you hear us?" Iacoma shouted, desperation lacing her words. "We seek forgiveness, we crave a return to the sanctity we tarnished." The spirits surged, swirling around like a vibrant storm, their murmurs flooding the air with sounds of woe, remnants of sacrifices made, cries of anguish echoing through time. In that cacophony, Rixarella found herself sinking into the depths of their sorrow. The weight of history pressed heavily against her. "Please," she implored as the energy intensified, enveloping them. "We acknowledge our failings, we own our transgression, we stand here humbled, begging for a second chance." At the height of her conviction, she could feel the tide shifting, the static energy responding to her expression of remorse. The spirits began to ebb, swirling closer to her and Iacoma, a collective wave that twirled around them as if they were the axis of a cosmic balance. Then above the murmurs, a voice emerged, a resonance that vibrated through her very bones, a guide that carried the weight of ages. Your heart speaks of truth, child, yet do you understand the depths of your plea? Rixgarella's heart swelled with the truth of her actions, realizing the sanctity of her intentions. I do, I only wish to reclaim that which was lost. I do not wish for the darkness to linger any longer. Then heed this, redemption comes not just from acknowledgement, but from a willing spirit, a heart ready to let go of the bonds that bind you to guilt. Will you release it? Rixgarella paused, uncertainty coursing through her veins. It was true, she had clung to the weight of her actions, fearful of what it might mean to relinquish that burden. I wish to let this go, she stammered, but I fear what will happen if I do. Fear is a tether, child, a shackle upon your soul. To move forward, you must choose to release it. Release the guilt and regret that holds you in a cycle of despair. Rixgarella's breath hitched as clarity began to dawn on her. I will release it, I will let go. The resolve strengthened within her, swelling like a wave, a relentless tide pushing forth against fears and doubts kept hidden away. With a sweeping gesture, Rixgarella extended her hands toward the spirits, embracing the light emerging from them, ready to relinquish the weight she carried. The moment felt timeless, an eternity wrapped around the seconds before her heart jumped into the unknown. I release my guilt, I release the pain of my choices. May it all be transformed into something beautiful. As she let go, a warmth enveloped her, a tether shifting the fabric of the universe around them. The shadows shimmered, quaking under the glow of what she had released, the energy around them lighting brighter, a pulse filling the air, expansive and resonant. Let the chains bind no more, a chorus of spirits echoed, their voices entwined with the luminescence that washed over Rixgarella. The sharp pangs of regret began to fade, replaced by compassion, understanding, and the overwhelming embrace of absolution. The spirits rejoiced in unison, swirling to embrace the warmth of grace as Rixgarella felt lifted, buoyed by the tides of their shared journey. She had summoned them, opened her heart, and faced the darkness. She hadn't just sought forgiveness, she had transformed her pain into a beacon for healing. In that moment of release, a profound silence fell. The air grew still and the shadows quieted, almost reverential. The night held its breath, and Rixgarella stood at the center of the circle, renewed. The spirits shimmered one last time, weaving through the encroaching shadows as they whispered sweetly into the night, "The light will guide you. The love you seek has returned, a legacy remade with each heartbeat of faith. Continue your journey, child." With those final words, Rixgarella felt the essence of love embracing her, a flicker of hope igniting her soul anew. Drenched in the warmth of their redemption, she turned to Iacoma, eyes brimming with tears of gratitude. "Are we free?" she asked, voice clinging to the air. "We are more than free," Iacoma replied, a smile breaking through her facade. "We are reborn." Together they stepped forward hand in hand, carrying the brilliance of this moment into the dawn, the promise of new beginnings built upon lessons learned and faith revitalized. The shadows of the past began to dissolve in the light, leaving only the beauty of what lay ahead. As the first rays of the sun spread over Offida, a gentle warmth wrapped around Rixgarella and Iacoma, filling them with a promise of hope. The echoes of the night before lingered in the air, weaving through the fabric of the day, reminding them of their unique journey. They walked as one, side by side, their spirits elevated by the powerful experience they had just shared under the shimmering moonlight. The village greeted them with a golden palette, fields dotted with dew-kissed wildflowers swaying in a soft breeze, and the air filled with birdsong. It seemed as if all of nature rejoiced at the dawn of a new day, reflecting the transformation that had taken place within Rixgarella. "I feel different, like I've shed layers of myself," she remarked, glancing at Iacoma, who walked with a newfound lightness in her step. "This freedom, it's intoxicating." "It is the freedom that comes with understanding," Iacoma replied, her voice layered with wisdom. "You have chosen not only to release your burdens, but to embrace your truth. You are stronger than you realize." Rixgarella smiled, her heart swelling with gratitude. With each passing step, she felt her connection to the world deepening, a bridge of understanding connecting her with the joys and sorrows of those around her. "What now?" she asked, eager to further explore the implications of their shared journey and the stories that still lay ahead. "Now we continue to honor the lessons learned," Iacoma said, her voice steady. "You were chosen to share our experience, to build a foundation of hope for those lost in darkness. Your voice can inspire as you guide others on their own journeys." "I want to do that," Rixgarella affirmed without hesitation, determination coloring her words. I want to help others find the light just as I did." As they reached the edge of the village, they encountered familiar faces. A group of villagers gathered near the marketplace, where laughter intermingled with discussions about daily life. Rixcarella noted how vibrant the colors appeared this morning. Their clothes, the produce, even the smiles exchanged were brighter. It was as if every person radiated a renewed spirit, nurturing the landscape with warmth. When she spotted her family amidst the crowd, a jolt of emotion surged through her. Her heart raced as she approached, eager to share her transformation with those she loved most. "Rixcarella," her mother called, her face lighting up with joy. "We've been searching for you, we were worried." Mother Rixcarella enveloped her in a fierce embrace, squeezing tightly as if her arms could infuse warmth into their long nights apart. Emotion welled up, a mix of relief, love, and excitement. "I have so much to share with you." Her father joined them, a proud smile plastered on his face as he reached for both of them. "What an adventure you've had. Your spirit shines brighter than ever, my daughter. Tell us everything." Rixcarella pulled back, her eyes sparkling. "Where should I start? I learned so much about faith, hope, and the power of love, and even about the darkness we sometimes face." As she narrated the events of the past night, the ritual, the calling forth of the spirits, and the lessons learned, her family listened intently, the initial concern of their expressions transforming into awe. "What an incredible journey," her father remarked, pride swelling in his voice. "You faced the darkness and emerged stronger because of it. This is the foundation of true faith." Her mother gently grasped Rixcarella's hand, squeezing it tightly. "You inspire me, my dear. I can't wait to see how you carry these lessons forward into our community. You have a calling, a purpose." Rixcarella's heart fluttered. She looked around at the familiar faces, friends and neighbors who had witnessed their village's struggles, who now shared in the triumph of faith. In that moment, she felt an unbreakable bond form between them, a sacred unity, the ties of shared hopes and dreams now strengthened by her journey. "Let's gather everyone," she suggested, a spark of inspiration igniting within her. "We can share what we've learned together and be a beacon of hope for everyone in Offida." With her family at her side, Rixcarella and Iacoma ventured toward the heart of the village, the energy building as they approached the bustling marketplace. Here, the melody of chatter filled the air, intermingling with the laughter of children and the enticing aromas of goods on display. Rixcarella's excitement bubbled within her, prompting her to weave through the crowd, feeling the pulse of life that surged around her. "Everyone," she called, raising her voice above the murmurs. "Can I gather your attention for a moment? I have something important to share." The crowd grew still, eyes shifting toward Rixcarella with curiosity. She felt their energy, support, anticipation, and a shared yearning for something greater. Her heart quickened as she glanced at Iacoma, who nodded with encouragement, urging her forward. "Last night I realized something monumental," Rixcarella declared, grounding herself in the moment. "We have all faced challenges, things that make us question our faith, our path, and even ourselves. But I learned that in those moments of darkness, there is also light waiting to be reborn." She felt the warmth of her words washing over her, a confirmation of their truth. Together, we can navigate through adversity, embracing both light and shadow. Our experiences, our stories, all are threads woven to create the tapestry of our community. The villagers exchanged glances, and whispers radiated through the crowd, carried by a windswept energy that surged with hope. "We must uplift one another, share our journeys, and learn together. There is strength in community, the faith we place in each other, to guide our paths once we embrace the truth." A ripple of agreement spread among the crowd, hearts ignited by her passion. With each word, Rixcarella felt her own heartbeat in rhythm with theirs, echoing with the promise of renewal. "Let us not forget the lessons learned in struggle. Let us brave the darkness together, finding it within ourselves to transform that darkness into light, touching the lives of others along the way." Cheers erupted from the crowd, a collective voice of affirmation rising in unison. "Yes, together, we stand as one, we embrace the light." Rixcarella smiled, her heart soaring. "With love as our guide, we shall illuminate the path for each other, a legacy of faith we will forge together." As she looked into the faces surrounding her, she felt a surge of certainty. They would embark on this journey hand in hand, their stories intertwined, a web of shared hope and faith guiding them forward. In that moment, she grasped the significance of their community, the possibility of transforming their lives together. A new chapter awaited Offida, filled with vibrant colors spinning from the struggles they faced and the strength drawn from unity. And as the sun rose higher into the sky, Rixcarella felt the warmth of the dawn envelop her, a promise of boundless potential, of paths yet to be forged, and the understanding that they would walk together, always striving towards the light. As the weeks rolled into months, the spirit of togetherness in Offida blossomed more vividly than ever. Rixgarella led the charge, her passion igniting the collective desire for deeper connection and healing within the village. The Festival of Stories had marked a turning point, a watershed moment where individuals stepped into the light, setting aside their burdens and embracing the vibrant potential that lay ahead. With the success of their festival, the villagers decided to create a formal structure for their newfound initiatives. Rixgarella, along with Iacoma and a select group of community leaders, established the Heart of Offida, a committee dedicated to nurturing the relationships woven among residents. This new group sprang from their collective promise to uplift one another and to keep the lines of communication honest and open. Each week brought fresh contributions and discussions, as villagers provided input and shared experiences, reinforcing the bonds that flourished in the warm embrace of solidarity. The initiative quickly gained momentum, evolving into an ongoing workshop series focused on tenets of compassion, empathy, and creativity. They began to invite guest speakers, teachers, artists, and those with lived experiences who could offer wisdom and guidance. With each encounter, the energy within the community grew, echoing with the laughter and revelations of its members. Rixgarella found herself often leading the sessions. Her confidence, once fragile, blossomed into a robust force that galvanized others. During one particular gathering, she stood before an eager audience filled with neighbors young and old. The sun poured through the windows of the town hall, illuminating faces that were both familiar and new. "Today we will explore the theme of forgiveness," she announced, her voice firm but warm. "It's a powerful force, one that heals not only wounds inflicted by others, but also those we hold against ourselves." The room fell into a hush, anticipation coloring the air. Various villagers exchanged slightly nervous glances, but there was an undeniable enthusiasm brewing. They all understood the weight of forgiveness. They had tasted bitterness in their own lives and often carried the burdens of unresolved pain. Rixgarella shared her own journey toward forgiveness, of letting go of the shadows of the night that had haunted her. Slowly, she unfolded her tale, revealing how her quest for redemption had been birthed from the ashes of despair. She spoke of the transformation that took place within her, emphasizing the strength it had taken to accept her frailty without judgment. "This process," she continued, "isn't just about absolving others, it's about freeing ourselves from the shackles we place upon our hearts. When we forgive, we embrace our humanity, allowing for a more compassionate reality." She walked among them, making eye contact with every listener, sharing a quiet strength as she encouraged them to reflect on their own experiences. Many nodded, recognizing the truth in her words, as they recalled regrets and past grievances that still stung. She then invited them to share. One by one, villagers stood to speak, their voices tinged with vulnerability. A young man named Luca shared how he had once carried resentment toward a childhood friend who had betrayed him. Through encouraging the crowd, he had found his own path to compassion, realizing the depth of their shared history while acknowledging human imperfection. Other stories unfolded, fears transformed into strength, resentment uplifted into gratitude. As voices poured forth, rich threads formed a captivating tapestry of lessons learned together. With each shared narrative, the intersections of their lives blended into something greater, something profoundly beautiful. By the end of the session, the atmosphere was electric with a sense of renewal. Rixgarella stepped back, witnessing the spark of connection flare through the room. This was not just a one-time event, this would become part of their regular gatherings, an opportunity for communal healing and growth. "Let's carry this forward," she proposed after the last voice faded. "Let's create a project together, where we can share our experiences of forgiveness throughout the community and beyond. We can make an impact, striving to inspire others who may be searching for their own paths." The villagers erupted with applause, their spirits inflating with excitement. Ideas began to bounce around the room, suggestions pouring in for projects that might reach others in need of healing. They envisioned murals painted with images of their stories and messages of hope, journals passed around to capture reflections and moments of growth, and community gatherings where they could celebrate their transformative journeys. As plans crystallized, the momentum behind the Heart of Offida surged. Rixgarella collaborated with her fellow villagers, taking on roles that stimulated their creativity and ensured everyone's story would be represented. She guided them through brainstorming sessions, drawing on the unique strengths of each member to harmonize their efforts. Months passed, and as the project took shape, Offida transformed. Colorful murals danced along the sides of buildings, vibrant and telling tales, each brushstroke a testament to struggles faced, hopes embraced, and the beauty of forgiveness. The community journal flowed with entries documenting the spirit of healing as it unfolded, creating an archive of their growth, a legacy for future generations. The grand reveal of their work was set for the celebration of the autumn equinox, a day when balance was honored. Villagers worked tirelessly, pouring their love and dedication into ensuring everything was perfect for the unveiling. On the day of the event, the town square transformed into a festival space, adorned with colorful leaves, twinkling lights, and community spirit radiating from every corner. Families and friends gathered, anticipation thick in the air as the sun dipped lower, casting an orange glow across the horizon. Rixgarella stood poised at the center, her heart beating with pride and joy. She surveyed the bustling crowd, children laughing, adults mingling. She felt a sense of fulfillment in the air, knowing they had cultivated something extraordinary together. With a beacon guiding her voice, she welcomed everyone to the celebration. Tonight, we gather not just to unveil our art, but to honor the journey we embarked upon together. Each painting, each word in our journal showcases not only our struggles, but our strength, our growth, and our willingness to embrace the full spectrum of being human. As the sun finally descended, casting a golden hue over the gathering, Rixgarella waved an arm towards the unveiled mural. The residents erupted into joyful cheers, the colors illuminating the stories that had been shared, a vibrant representation of their collective experiences. Her eyes glistened as she took in the beauty of the moment, the powerful expression of community encased in art. She felt the warmth of connection washing over her, a reminder that their stories had come together, not merely to decorate their surroundings, but to illuminate the heart of Offida. As the festival continued, laughter and music filled the air, echoing the vibrancy of the community they had forged. The residents danced under the starlit sky, intertwined in the joy of togetherness, knowing that each moment they shared, each story told, was a thread woven into the rich tapestry of their lives. And in that magical night, with hearts aglow, they reveled in the understanding that their individual journeys had merged into something monumental. An affirmation that together, they held the power to keep the lights of hope and love burning bright, casting shadows aside, always moving towards a future filled with promise and unity. As the festival unfolded under the stars, the energy of Offida pulsed with vibrant joy. Each story shared, each laugh exchanged, fortified the bonds of community. Rixgarella moved through the crowd, soaking in the smiles and the warmth of connection. She felt a part of something larger than herself, a collective spirit that embraced every villager, a beautiful tapestry woven from diverse threads of hardship and triumph. The night deepened, and as the bonfire crackled, illuminating the faces around it, Rixgarella paused to reflect. Memories of her own journey flooded her mind, the uncertainty, the fear, and ultimately, the courage that had led her and the villagers to this moment. She envisioned the shadows they had faced and how together they had transformed those struggles into light, turning pain into purpose. Tonight is more than a celebration, she addressed the crowd, her voice carrying softly above the sounds of laughter and music. It's a reminder of the power we each hold to uplift one another, to heal, and to grow. We are not defined by our hardships, but by how we rise above them together. Cheers erupted, a wave of affirmation rippling through the gathering. She saw friends embracing, children dancing, and a renewed sense of belonging enveloping them all. Her heart swelled at the sight, and tears glimmered in her eyes, a radiant reflection of the love they shared. As the festivities continued, villagers began sharing their heartfelt gratitude for one another. An elderly woman, Sophia, stepped forward, her voice steady despite her age. I watched this community change over the years, but nothing prepared me for the beauty I see today. It warms my heart to know that the younger generations carry the light of hope forward. Never lose it, my friends. Rixgarella nodded, feeling a deep sense of honor. It was this legacy, the lessons learned and the bonds formed, that she hoped to pass down through the generations. She held the vision of teaching young children about the power of forgiveness, resilience, and unity, ensuring they grew up within a community that embraced love over conflict. As the night wore on, they shared meals around the bonfire, exchanging stories laced with laughter and poignant moments. They celebrated their differences, sharing traditional dishes that represented their cultural backgrounds, with each flavor serving as a reminder of the unique ingredients that made their community vibrant. Gradually, the festival reached its climax as lanterns, each symbolizing a story shared, were lit and released into the sky. Rixgarella stood amongst her fellow villagers, watching as the flickering lights floated upward, illuminating the night like twinkling stars. It felt as if their shared hopes were taking flight, ascending toward the heavens, a collective prayer for continued unity and strength. In that moment, she was struck by the realization that their stories, intertwined and interdependent, formed a legacy that would endure for years to come. Offida would thrive as a place of refuge and resilience, a community where love guided them through the darkness. "Look out, world," she called out, pointing toward the sky as the last of the lanterns danced into the night. "We are Offida. We are a tapestry of light woven together by love, and this is just the beginning. Together, we will create a legacy that inspires all who come after us." The crowd erupted in cheers, their voices ringing out, an anthem of hope that celebrated not only the moment but the future they were striving to cultivate. Rixgarella could feel the energy surging, an electric connection sparking amongst them. As the festival wound down and the last lantern flickered against the starry sky, she felt an overwhelming gratitude for the journey that had led them here. Together, they would continue to navigate life's challenges, forever intertwined in their stories and shared experiences. The power of forgiveness and communal healing would serve as their guiding light, a steadfast reminder that even amidst the darkest battles, hope could flourish. With hearts aglow and arms entwined, the villagers of Offida stepped into the future, each carrying a piece of the legacy they had built together, ready to shine a light of love, courage, and resilience into the world. What did you think of this story? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Click the video on the left to hear another story.